Hi, this is Mr. Skelton, and I wanted to talk to you just a little bit very quickly about next year when your child goes to sixth grade. They're going to Roton Middle School, hopefully. And since I'm teaching strings there, I want to make sure you understand a little bit of the differences that happen in middle school, things that might be questions for you as you're selecting courses. Probably in the next couple weeks, you're going to get uh, information from Roten, and the guidance department there, the counseling center there, will be going over these things with you. But it's been my experience that every year there's a lot of confusion about what actually is going to happen, what you can do, and what you can't do. Um, and it's unfortunate because a lot of people kind of make the choice not to continue with orchestra based on information that might not be the best. So I wanted to just talk to you directly about that. So the first thing I want to mention is the biggest difference between doing strings in elementary school or orchestra in middle school is orchestra is a class. It's part of the schedule. So you're not pulled out of anything else to do orchestra. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind because I know a lot of people get concerned about how much time is taken away from the other academic subjects. So I want to put your mind at ease on that. Now, there are pull-out lessons still in addition to that, but there's some very important things to consider with that. First of all, unlike elementary school, those lessons rotate so that you're not being pulled out of the same class every single time. And just to give you an example, uh, you might be pulled out, or your child might miss part of a math class. The first lesson might, then the next time might be language arts. The next time might be science or social studies. The next time might be another sort of, we call it rainbow class, one of these um, sort of specials classes, as we describe them at elementary school. Now, the other thing too is, especially for math, language arts, and science or social studies, uh, those are 80-minute classes, and they're only pulled out for half of that. So they're only missing half of the class, and because of the rotating nature of it, they're only going to miss that half class maybe once a month at most. It's usually about once every 6 to 8 weeks. So it's a really, really small impact. And if you'd like, I mean, I could send you all the data that says that pullouts don't have any effect on academics. There's no evidence to suggest that it does. It's just, people get nervous about it, and that's understandable. Um, but we do everything we can to minimize the impact, and students are able to make the work up if they happen to miss it. Most often they're not missing anything, so that's usually not an issue. Now, if it does become an issue, or if you're still really concerned about that, there are other ways to get those lessons in. It's possible to arrange early morning lessons. It's possible to arrange lunchtime lessons. Um, I'm flexible with that, and that's also very important to keep in mind. So, um, if the nature of the pull-out lessons is a concern, if that's the deal breaker, then be sure to contact me and tell me your concerns, and we'll see what we can do, because we don't want that to be the thing that keeps your child from continuing in orchestra. Because if they've been learning the instrument these past 2 or 3 years, then we want them to continue with that instrument so they develop their skills and just go on to more interesting music, playing with other students that have continued and have made the choice to continue, and the level of playing is obviously going to be higher, and it's a lot more fun that way. Now, one other really quick thing, and this is mostly for people who, if your child plays cello or bass, we have instruments at the school for them to use. Now, you should still have something for at home, but when you get to middle school, you're not going to be traveling back and forth with the cello or bass because, first of all, they won't allow them on the buses. They're just too big. Violins and violas will go back and forth every day every other day since you have orchestra every other day. It'll be going back and forth, and I have a place to put them in my room. So it's not. In fact, I'm here at row 8, and you can see behind me I have shelves for the instruments here. I have the same situation at Roton, and every student has a little dedicated place. When they bring in their violin or the viola, if they're a cello player, a bass player, they have one set aside for them. They know which one they're going to use. So that part of it too is not too much of an issue. The final thing, and I had a copy of the form at some point, and I know they made some changes, and I haven't gotten an updated one, but when the course selection form comes, now you really don't have a lot of flexibility for what you can choose. Obviously, you have to take some form of math. You've got to take language arts. You've got to take science and social studies. Those are given. And also, most likely I think they give you phys ed at least the first year. I don't remember how many exactly years that you do that. But the courses that you are able to select, the only actual electives, have to do with world languages and the music ensemble classes. So world languages, Roton has a lot of languages they offer. So Japanese, Chinese, French, Spanish, and Spanish heritage. I'm not sure if they've added more since then. Those are the ones I'm aware of. And so you'll be encouraged to select one. You don't actually have to, but obviously learning a second language is a very good thing. And the other thing that they can choose can be a music class, or music ensemble class. So that includes chorus, orchestra, and band. Now it is possible to do 2 or even 3 of those. We don't recommend doing all 3, especially if you're just starting a band instrument. It's really hard to kind of keep up 2 instruments in middle school. If you've already started one, then it's possible. Or if you are doing if you're doing orchestra and band but not chorus, that can work. If you can find the time to practice both, then that can work. But the point is, what your child wants to sign up for, check it off on the form. If they're going to be recommended for artistically talented or academically gifted talented, the name keeps changing, so I'm not sure. The initials AT, GT, BT, I don't know, they get a little confusing after a while. But the point is, make known to the counseling center at Roton everything that your child is ready to commit to do. If they want to do chorus, orchestra, band, art T, and gifted, get them signed up for all of them. Or at least make note of that on the paper, because if there's going to be a conflict, and there might be, and there's only so many slots in the day, let them sort that out later. And the reason I say this is because we don't know, and as the teachers, we don't know, the counseling center doesn't know until basically the end of the summer what the actual schedule will be. We don't know what's going to conflict with what. So, for example, this year, all of my orchestra classes were at the same period as people who were studying Chinese. I didn't know that going in. I had I have a few students that were in Chinese class. Does that mean they can't do orchestra? No, but that does mean that I can work my schedule in a different way to make sure that they are able to still do orchestra, or at least learn the music, perform in the concerts, and still receive that instruction. And maybe next year it might be different. Maybe it'll be a different language that it conflicts with, or maybe it won't be any. Like I say, things change. So the most important thing to do is not be concerned about scheduling conflicts at this point. And we have a different leadership in the counseling center, which I believe is an improvement over years past. So I don't know if there will be any confusion on this subject. But my advice to you is stay in orchestra, first of all, and second, indicate that and anything else on the form. Don't say, oh, I'm only allowed 2 of these, and then just check only the 2. If you're looking at doing more, put them down. And if they question it, then just say, well, we're looking to see what conflicts with what. And that's a perfectly valid way to do that. So my email address is at the bottom of the screen. And if you have any questions, I'd be delighted to discuss them with you or to answer them for you. And I look forward to seeing your child in orchestra at Roton next year.